Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. It's 4:06 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. We don't have new methane data from CAMS today, so they're still showing Sunday as the latest methane data. I thought I would show you what's happened with sulfur dioxide, though I have the PDF here of sulfur dioxide from today, Tuesday, January 29th for global, and this is total column. So what we were watching was this area off the west coast of California, and I don't see any new releases. It looks like it's just dissipating and spreading down south to the Pacific. So that's kind of what I was concerned about the most. We're still seeing releases from Hawaii, from Popocatépetl, up here in Alaska. There's a release going on up here near Tajikistan, I think. And then it's just red spreading out across this whole area over to China, and then it's red over in China, I'm thinking because the pollution, and then it's heavy over India and Saudi Arabia and so forth. So that's what we have with sulfur dioxide. So I'm just going to leave this as a backdrop. We've got a few comments to go over, and then we'll get right into our earthquake report, and hopefully this one will be a little shorter today. This comment came in under my, let me check, hold on, under my methane and earthquake report from January the 26th. And that's where I answered Elsa's questions about where methane came from, especially why was it so heavy coming up out of the surface of Japan and India and different things. And I went into quite a detailed explanation on that. And then she wrote a thank you comment back, so I thought I'd share that first. Thank you so much, Margo, for answering my last comment at length. You're welcome, Elsa. I really appreciate this dialogue, not to mention your care, dedication, and kindness. Indeed, I am preparing to leave the planet too. It's been my main occupation for the last few years, even while I look like I'm still living a normal life, working and doing the human down here things. Nevertheless, you were right in perceiving that I sometimes slip into losing my equanimity. I have a bad moment once in a while, even with the intensive work. I do to keep myself in a space of truth and clarity. I love your ritual opening phrase, by the way. Also, I couldn't help being very preoccupied with the rising methane in the last few months. It's been gnawing at me in the late hours of the night. I agree with you that the spring of 2019 looks like it might bring us over the edge. We will see soon enough. This being said, in your rant you did clarify some things for me about methane emissions coming from Russia, China, and the Himalayas. I had looked at the Wikipedia site you had referenced a while ago. You had pointed it out to me in an answer to an earlier question, but for some reason I still could not wrap my mind around the huge difference in methane emissions between these three regions and the rest of the world. I thought there might be another phenomenon behind this beyond just human activity, but your comments helped drive this home for me now. Anyway, thank you, Margo. The truth shall set us free. Thank you, Elsa. I appreciate your response, and I'm glad that my explanation helped you. And it is mind-blowing, and I've dreamed about this stuff, and I know exactly what you're talking about not being able to sleep, for thinking about it, and the consequences, and all of that, and and also kind of having to live a double life in knowing what's coming and so soon, but we don't know exactly when, but yet we have to keep doing our normal everyday things of chopping wood and hauling water, and I mean, we have to keep going here until we're not here. And so I think to strike a balance between the research and the understanding, and then just being grounded in our 3D routines and our chores, and you know, doing what we have to do in the world here is what we need to strive for, and a balance more than anything, and not just be so caught up in one or the other. But it's hard for me because I'm pretty much a recluse most of the time, and I don't get out very much. So, you know, I just pull myself away and force myself to do other things to kind of keep some semblance of normalcy. So thank you for being here, Elsa. I appreciate you very much. And you're right, the truth will set us free from this illusion. Robert Atack says, thanks, Margo. You're welcome, Robert. This is under my video from yesterday, all of these now. Margaret Boucher says, an article yesterday in Strange Sounds News reported the lava dome at St. Helens is growing 5 meters a day now. I have no knowledge when it comes to volcanoes, but 15 feet a day sounds serious to me. Thanks for the report, Margo. You're welcome, Margaret, and thank you for your comment. And I've seen those reports as well, and it seems that these volcanoes, these domes, go through cycles of rebuilding until they have some kind of release. And so I don't know what this means, but yeah, it sounds pretty serious to me. Well, it means the magma is building up in the volcano again, in the chamber, and I'm thinking, depending on where the earthquakes are, it might be releasing pressure. But if we don't have earthquakes to release the pressure and the magma to move, it can build up in one place, and then it's a huge release. So thanks for your comment, Margaret, and thanks for being here. Marie Scott says, thanks, Margo. You're welcome, Marie. And she goes, what an amazing report about the giant gas releases. Living right under it, did not realize how bad it was. Take care, your voice helps me. Well, I'm glad. And no, we don't realize what we're living under. And you know, it's bad everywhere, and in some places it's worse than other places, and these areas move around, and so you know, we just don't realize. We get used to the skies looking a certain way, and the food tasting a certain way, and thinking that it's normal, and it's not normal. So thanks, Marie. I appreciate your comment, and it's good to see you again. Night Skylight says, thank you, Margo. You're welcome, Night Skylight. So let's get right into our earthquake report. I have USGS, all magnitudes for the last 24 hours pulled up, and it's showing an increase of earthquakes worldwide. It's showing 260, worldwide in the last 24 hours. You can see this big red dot that just came in down here in Peru. We'll be getting to that. So the earthquake makers are back at work, full force. It's Tuesday. And so we'll see what kind of blasts and explosions they've got going on in addition to everything else. So when we look at all magnitudes for, last 24 hours for 2.5 magnitudes and higher, it's showing 28 earthquakes. So I showed this one, this 5.0 that came in down in Geronimo, Iztepec, San Geronimo, Iztepec, Mexico. This came in right at the end of my report yesterday at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. So let's go ahead. Actually, nothing is about to fall off over here that I need to worry about. The next one that's about to go on this map is at 7:42. So let's just start over here in Mexico. We've had quite a bit of activity, and then we'll do South America and then come around the Ring of Fire and then back to the US. So we saw this 5.0 right here on land, and we already reported on that yesterday. Then this 4.5 off the coast of Guatemala came in at 10:48 p.m. last night, 39 kilometers deep, near Nueva Concepcion. Then this one came in off the coast of El Salvador. It was a 4.5, and it came in at 2:52 p.m. this afternoon, 65 kilometers deep. So here's our red line. So these are on the red line basically. So with those being out in the ocean, they didn't cause any problems for people, more than likely. Okay, let's see what's going on with this 5.5 that just came in near Orco Pampa, Peru. It's a 5.5 that came in at 3:35 p.m. this afternoon, 109 kilometers deep. So they're saying it's 27 kilometers south-southwest of Orco Pampa. Here's Orco Pampa. So it doesn't look like there are any little towns around there. It looks like it's up in the mountains. If it wasn't near anything, it probably didn't cause any damage, but you could feel it. You could definitely feel that, I'll bet. 4.1 near Ovalle, Chile came in at 12:25 this afternoon, 85 kilometers deep. That was a 4.1. So that's all in South America. So coming across the Pacific, we've got some more down here near Fiji. We've got a 4.2 near Futuna that came in today at 3:14 p.m. 368 kilometers deep. 4.4 near Nidoy Island, Fiji, that came in this morning at 6:31, 564 kilometers deep. Then a 4.3 near Lombasa, Fiji, came in at 12:30 this morning, 571 kilometers deep. So it's these really deep ones that will cause the tectonic plates to shift around the world. Here's one near Vanuatu that came in at it was a 4.9 near Port Olri, Vanuatu, that came in at 1:37 this morning, 162 kilometers deep. Then here's one that came in on land on Papua New Guinea. Where's this one? I'm not seeing that one. Oh, it's up there. Okay, so here's our Papua New Guinea earthquake. Actually, it's a 5.0 near Abipura, Indonesia, that happened at 8:24 this morning, 35 kilometers deep. Here's Abipura, way up here. So that probably didn't cause any damage, but you never know. Then we've got this one in the Philippines in the ocean. It was a 4.6 near Sarangani that happened last night at 9:26 p.m., 108 kilometers deep. So that was in the ocean near that red line. Then here's one that's recent that came in the northern Mariana Islands. It was a 4.1 near Pagan, northern Mariana Islands. It came in this afternoon at 3:24 p.m., 484 kilometers deep. So another deep one right on that red line. Then here off the coast of Japan was a 5.0 near Ohara, Japan. It came in yesterday at 7:42 p.m. right on this red line. So there's that. Then there was one up here in Afghanistan, a 4.3 near Korug. It says near Korug, Tajikistan, but it was actually across the border in Afghanistan. That happened at 11:10 this morning, 104 kilometers deep. Then we had an unusual earthquake up here in Poland that happened. It was a 4.1 near Grabowcis, Poland, that happened at 4:53 this morning. So it doesn't look like there are any towns right nearby, but you'd be able to feel that, definitely. 4.1. So that's all of them over there. Now let's see what's let's go to all magnitudes and see what's happening over here in Hawaii first. And it's active. We've got 14 on the map today. This one just happened out in the ocean at 2.2. Happened at 4:11 p.m. So I'm going to get in a little closer so we can see where these are coming up or happening. Because here's Kilauea, here's Mauna Loa, and the Mauna Loa Observatory is right there. So I'll just click them and call them off. 2.1, 1.9, 1.2, 1.8, 1.7, 1.9, 1.9, 1.9, 2.1, 1.9, 2.2, 1.7, 1.9, and 2.2. So it's mainly in the ones, but we did have some twos up here. So near Mauna Loa, and then these three were in the Kilauea crater. So it's still, and we saw the sulfur dioxide coming up, so there's still activity going on here. So it's just a matter of what's going to be releasing and when. So now let's move across to the Dominican Republic. And we're seeing 8 on the map here today. I'll just call them off. 2.3, 3.3, that's a larger one, near Charlotte Amalie, U.S. Virgin Islands. 2.9, 2.3, 2.4, 2.3, 2.6, and 3.4 is our last one, near Miches, Dominican Republic. That one came in at 1:49 p.m. today, 165 kilometers deep. Looks like that was in the water just off the coast. And there's Miches there. So now let's check out Alaska. We've got 48 on the map here of all magnitudes. Let's go to 2.5 magnitudes and higher and see what we have. Here was one up here at 2.5 at Kuptovik. Here was a 3.2 near Kodiak. 2.6 near Anchor Point, 2.5 near Redoubt Volcano, and then 3 right here in the Anchorage area, 2.8, 3.5, and a 2.7. So those are the larger ones, and so the rest of them were under those magnitudes. So under 2.5. So not as many as yesterday. And these come and go. This is an active area. Alaska on the average has between 50 and 100 earthquakes a day. So here there are 25 in our viewing area. And they're small. So there's that. Now let's come on down to the United States. I want to start over here. This one in near East Prairie, Missouri, was a 2.2 that came in last night at 11:44 p.m., 15 kilometers deep. Now this is part of that new Madrid hazard zone. And if people don't know about that, just look it up. See, it's right in the middle of that. I'll do a report on New Madrid. I'll do a little research and do a report, because this is a major hazard zone in the United States, and it's been predicted that if I'd say predicted that if large earthquakes happen over here, then it will actually split the United States in two, and the Mississippi will just be running all the way up and widen, and then the United States will basically split into two land masses, and so that's why it's such a big deal. And I think in the 1800s there was one of the largest earthquakes ever reported in the United States happened here in the New Madrid area. So it's active and it's a place to be watched, definitely. Then we have a 2.9 near Cherokee, Oklahoma that happened this morning at 6:26. Then down here in Texas was a 2.6 near Pecos that happened at 4:32 this morning. Let's come on up through Utah. Here's three little ones, 0.3, 1.0, and a 0.9. And then moving on up, here's one, a 1.5 near Fairview. Now this was at a minus 0.9 kilometers depth. So you know what that means. That it's showing that the epicenter was up inside the mountain. So that means that magma is moving and causing shaking up inside the mountain there. Now up into Yellowstone, we have 16 here today, so that's definitely an uptick. Let's see if how many I can get on the map. Okay, I've got all 16 here, so I will just click them and call them off. 0.6 right here. Near Virginia City, Montana. 1.0 Lincoln, Montana. 0.9 Old Faithful Geyser. 0.6 Manhattan, Montana. Here's a 0 magnitude near Virginia City, Montana. 1.1 near Manhattan, Montana. 0.5 near Manhattan, Montana. 1.4 near Lincoln, Montana. 1.1 near West Yellowstone, Montana, right up here in the corner. 1.2 Old Faithful Geyser. 1.3 Lincoln, Montana. 1.1 Cody, Montana. 1.3 Manhattan, Montana. 1.8 Old Faithful, and here's a quarry blast that registered a 1.7 west of Townsend. It's right up here. That little triangle, the diamond, happened at 11:02 this morning. It was minus 2 kilometers in depth and 1.5 at Lincoln. So we saw some clusters here at Lincoln and down here at Old Faithful, here at Old Faithful too. So that I would say that activity is picked up since yesterday. Now let's go up to the northwest and see what's going on. Here's a 1.8 near Mazama, Washington. Here's a 0.9 near Port Townsend, Washington. 1.1 magnitude explosion near Castle Rock. Well, they're still doing construction and blasting. That came in at 3:15 this afternoon at minus 0.8 kilometers depth. Minus 0.2 near Morton, and this was at a minus 1.8 kilometers depth. So that was up in the mountain. It was a microquake, but it registered up in the mountain. and then a 1.3 near Amboy. So here was our explosion. Okay, so that was at a different time than those others. So that's what's happening up there. I think I got this one. Oh, here's another one, a 1.8 near Mount Hood Village, Oregon. Here's one off the coast. We are always interested in these. 2.1 near Bandon, Oregon, that came in last night at 6:40 p.m. Here's one near Redway, California, 1.8 that came in at 6:30 this morning. Notice it's close to this San Andreas fault line, and we pay close attention to things that happen on or near that fault line. So there's that. Let's do let's go to the geysers next, since we're here. 26, including one little earthquake down here. Let's move that one. So there's 25 here at the geysers in the last 24 hours. So that's been very active. I was watching them last night come in like just within minutes of each other. And they're small. They're under ones. And here's a 2.3, 2.3. And these are negative kilometers depth, like a minus 0.6, minus 0.8. So that means that the epicenter is up in the mountain, showing movement up inside the mountain for that epicenter. Here's one of 1.40 kilometers depth, and so forth. So that has definitely sprung up. Here's a small one near Fairfield, California, 0.9. Let's just come on down the San Andreas Fault while we're at it and see what's going on. Here's a 1.3 near Gilroy and a 1.9 near Gilroy. Here's a couple on top of each other here. Here's a 1.7 near Juan Bautista and a 1.5 near Juan Bautista. Here's a 1.9 near Tres Pinos. Here's a 2.1 near Tres Pinos. 2.1 near Pinnacles. 1.3 near Pinnacles. 1.7 near Pinnacles. These are all on that red line, that fault line. Here's another one down here, 1.7 near San Ardo. Here's a 0.8 near Parkfield. Now, here's one, a little one here, 1.0 near Lebec. And then we're coming into the Los Angeles region. Here's one over here. Quarry blast, 1.7 magnitude near Apple Valley. This came in at 12:55 p.m. today, a minus 1.1 kilometers depth, so it was up in the mountain or on the hillside. Okay, we've got a couple of little ones in LA there. I'm going to zoom out and see if we can get all of Southern California here, and the ones just across the border in Mexico. Okay, we've got 49 on the map here today. So let's see if there are any other blasts. I'll just do a search. Okay, here's a 1.1 near La Mesa. I'm not seeing where it's popping up. Anyway, that was a quarry blast that came in at 1 o'clock this afternoon, minus 0.1 kilometers depth. And let's see if there were no explosions. So that's the only other blast that I'm seeing. So let's see how many are in Kauai. We've got 37 at Kauai today. So let me hop back over to this one. Did this just come in? This must have just come in. It's red. 3.6 off the coast of Petrolia, California, came in at 4:34 this afternoon, 2.1 kilometers depth. So this is right on the edge of that Juan de Fuca plate, so that's still moving. That is still moving. So there's that. So all of these are under 2.5 magnitude. Now let's go over to the east side of California and make our way up, and then we'll do Nevada and finish up. Here's a 2.1 magnitude quarry blast near Prairie, Nevada, but it's in California. That happened at 2:38 this p.m. Today, this afternoon, minus 1.1 kilometers depth. Here's a 1.6 magnitude quarry blast near Boron that happened at 4:16 p.m. today, 0.3 kilometers depth. 1.4 near Johannesburg, 1.2 near California City, and here's a 1.5 near Johannesburg. Now, let's come on up here. Near Rose Valley, we've got 7 on the map, including this one up here. I'll just, these are near Little Lake and Coso Junction, and they're 1.8 and under, and they're in the ground. None of them are negative negative depth. There's a 0.9 Olanche. We got all those over there. Okay, here we are at Mammoth Lakes in Long Valley Caldera. We've got 7 on the map here today. I'll call them out. 0.8, 1.2, 0.8, minus 0.2, 0.7, 0.5, and 0.4. So still movement down there, even though they're small. Here was a 1.1 near Bridgeport and a 0.6 near Bridgeport. Now coming on up in the Reno area, here's one near Kings Beach. Minus 0.3 near Tahoe Vista, California. Here's a 0.3 near Verdi. Here's a 0.1 near Truckee, up in the mountains. Here's a 1.5 near Quincy. I think that's all for California. We saw that one. We saw that one, Verdi. Okay, here's one near Fernley at 0.5. It happened at 4:09 this morning. Here's a blast or explosion, 2.1 magnitude explosion near Lovelock. 0 kilometers depth. That happened at 2:56 this afternoon. There's a lot of mining outside of Lovelock, so it could have been they were blasting open mines or God knows what. Alright, now let's come on down in Nevada. We're just seeing small ones peppered down through this Walker Lake and Hawthorne area. Then down past Tonopah, here's a 1.1 near Goldfield. And then these small ones, these are in that Nevada test site area. Here's a 1.5 near Courant. Here's a 1.9 explosion west of Ely that happened at 1:27 this afternoon. 0 kilometers depth. And I think that's it. We got that one. That was the one near Lovelock. 0.7 near Gabbs. And so forth. So we're definitely seeing an uptick in the number of earthquakes. Now we've got 259 all magnitudes. So let's see what happened while I was doing the report. So we saw this one that came in. It looks like we got some more small ones down in California. 2.2 near Anchor Point, Alaska. And we got that 2.2 in Hawaii, the Pahala, Hawaii. So I'm going to wrap it up. I have no other news at the moment. So I love all of you very much. I do believe time is short and that we are in the end times. And I recommend everyone get your spiritual houses in order and get ready to exit the planet. And, you know, whatever that means for you, whether it's finishing up relationships, healing old wounds between people, you know, just and asking for forgiveness and forgiving others, and you know, not carrying any grudges around or bad feelings, and because that'll make it easier for you to let go when it comes time. So my name is Margo, and if anyone is interested in holistic life coaching, I do that. You can go to my website, margoshealingcorner.com, and check that out. And it's a form of talk therapy, and I also come from a spiritual perspective with it, and can say prayers with people, and you know, just listen and give practical advice, and you know, help you. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. So I look forward to talking to everybody real soon, and God bless everyone, and go in peace. Good night.